Hi, my name's Andy Kelkoven. I'm the head coach of the North Belly IRB team. This video aims at answering some of those questions that you may have in regards to the IRB coaching on an introductory level. I hope you enjoy the video. IRB competition. This exciting and spectacular sport allows club members to refine and hone their rescue skills in readiness for patrolling beaches around Australia. Competitors at the highest level make the operation of these boats and challenging surf look effortless. However, this does not come without the correct coaching and many hours of preparation. So how do you prepare and train club members to be ready to compete in an IRB competition? We hope that this video will answer this question and hopefully many more by providing an introductory guide to coaching for IRB competition. This video will run through the basic principles of IRB competition, drawing attention to any key issues. For the beginner, IRB racing can seem quite daunting. This could be attributed to the complex skill set which is required to operate an IRB in harsh environments. For both simplicity and to provide structure to this video, we'll run through some basic training sessions. This session will then be broken into two major sections. Section 1, preparation of both the equipment and the athletes. Section 2, the session itself, breaking down a typical IRB race to help identify key points. Section 1, preparation. The environment. Within this section, the key component is safety. The area has been assessed for hazards and that the crews have been fully briefed of any hazards before water training is commenced. The coach should look for such hazards as rocks, inshore holes, sandbanks, gutters, rips, sweeps, seaweed, and remove any items on the beach that may be of concern. The equipment. Prior to a training session, the IRB and any other equipment must be checked. This involves a physical inspection of the engine to ensure that there are no breakages. In addition, the engine should be run for at least 5 minutes prior to operation. Any breakages during a training session must be logged in the IRB logbook, as well as in the training log. It is also recommended that the appropriate contact person is also notified, i.e. the IRB captain. The boat also should be checked for any damages or leaks. Important areas for pre-checking include the floorboard hinges, transom, inflation valves, transom plate, and the boat in general, so to ensure that there are no leakages or other malfunctions. A gauge should always be used when inflating the boat, so to ensure it is inflated and operated at the manufacturer's specifications. Particular attention needs to be paid to the inflation valves to ensure that they are not leaking and that the craft remains at the correct pressure for the duration of the operation. The individual. The coach should also advise crew members to wear the appropriate clothing. A wetsuit and/or suitable layers of clothing should be worn according to the temperature and weather conditions. Competitors with long hair need to keep this tied back and tucked under a competition cap or a gaff helmet. Also, unsecured zipper pull cords on the back of wetsuits are also dangerous. The crew must ensure that all cords are tucked away and do not hang loosely. Jewellery should not be worn during the operation of the powercraft. The athletes need to ensure that the IRB is ready for operation. This is done by firstly doing the motor check. This involves the checking of key items on the motor such as the spindles or engine clamps are tensioned firmly, the pull cord is positioned to the athlete's preferred location, the cowling is also secured. The kill switch is set to the on position. The fuel line is secured. The boat's position needs to be as close to stationary as possible, particularly just prior and during the guns up period. For large waves, the best technique is to have both the driver and the crew person on their respective sides of the boat and to be towards the nose of the IRB. Specifically, they are to hold onto the black handle and drag the boat towards the wave so to counter any backwards pressure caused by the wave making contact with the boat. For smaller waves, the crew person can usually handle this boat on their own. The communication between the driver and the crew is essential at all parts of the event, but more so during the start procedure. As a coach, it is important to remind the crews of this aspect. Keeping an eye on any incoming waves is also essential, so that any surprise waves can be eliminated. It is important to be in a stance similar to a start of a sprinting race so that no time is wasted when boarding the boat. The driver should be focused on the motor, and the crew person should be focused on a number of things, including the water, the starter, and the boarding handles which they intend to use. Key points to be checking for the driver include the correct position prior to the start gun and that the entry is clean, providing good boat position to perform the start procedure. All movements must be purposeful. The start procedure can be done by either using one hand or two hands on the pull cord. If you choose to do the two-handed start procedure, it is essential that the engine is in the neutral position prior to doing so and then engaged into gear once the motor has started and the hand is on the tiller arm. Key points for the crewman during the start procedure include correct hand and body positions prior to the gun, a smooth entry with purposeful hand and feet placements during the entry. It is also important to go forwards as soon as possible. Negotiation is essential to have mastered prior to attempting to perform this skill at racing speed. As a coach, you need to reinforce to the driver that they must always drive to their crewman's ability and never beyond, or they risk sustaining a serious injury. When the correct technique and necessary experience has been satisfied, this section of the race can be the most enjoyable and challenging. Once mastered, a crew learns each other's nature and can anticipate each other's moves. It It is important to minimise the air time as the boat cannot propel itself forward unless the propeller is in the water. Following are some examples of the crewing technique. Notice how the crewman is secure when he goes forwards and backwards, taking note of their feet positions. It is also important to note their hands. When crewing the boat through the break, it can be seen that the crewman is required to come backwards and forwards a great deal. It is important to maintain a secure grip and 3 points of contact during these changes of the cruise position. One of the more recent inclusions to IRB competition is this aspect of the event. This part of the race is the most subjective part, lending itself to many various techniques based on many different beliefs. Here are some examples of positions for the crewman during the turn. There is no one way to perform this task. The technique chosen is influenced by particular factors such as the design of the boat, if it is a rigid or soft hull design, the brand of the boat, the brand of the motor, the weight of the individual crews, including if the driver is heavier than the crew or vice versa. All of these factors can affect how the boat turns and what technique works best. It is important that the crew trial a system which works best for them and customise this to their liking. After completing the 360-degree turn, it is time to prepare for the patient pickup. It is important that the crew person's hands are secure. The main secure point for this is the right hand on the bow rope. The left hand lets go of the bow rope and simultaneously the crew person rocks over to the other side of the boat. At this time, it is important to place the left foot loosely in the left foot strap. It is important to use your knees to help balance by pressing against the IRB. The left arm is then used in a hook-like manner to pick up the patient. Once contact is made, the crew person drives off their left leg and places the patient along with themselves onto the spray dodger. The driver must maintain control, only applying the necessary throttle so to safely pick up the patient and to avoid any cavitation. The best way to minimise cavitation is by momentarily backing off the throttle. Cavitation can also be evident during the 360-degree turn. This is best done by the crewman maintaining the normal crew position. The normal crew position can be seen here and is characterised by the right hand being secured to the handle, the left hand secured to the bow rope, and the left foot secured within the left foot strap. The crew person can trim the boat on return by either rocking forwards or by coming back. Setting up for a finish with plenty of time prior to hitting the beach is the key to a successful and safe exit of the boat. See here how the driver stabilises themselves in anticipation for the shutdown procedure. Note the left hand being prepared well in advance of the beach. Once the driver determines the timing for the engine shutdown, the switch is to be flicked to the off position and the driver starts to dismount the IRB. Note how the legs have come over the side pontoon together and the driver has a clear vision of where he is going. It is important not to become tangled or caught up in the IRB's side road. The driver is to anticipate the finish speed, standing up off the side of the boat, and he is to commence running at speed. The crewman is to simply remain in the previously described normal position. It is essential that they are prepared for a sudden stop.